Alright everyone, so today I wanted to share with you guys more information about 4 new champions that will be coming to the game. And I wanted to start off here with a champion that we actually haven't really heard about in a while now. And those of you guys who've been playing the game for a while might actually recognize this image right here. And I'll tell you guys that this image is actually a champion that was teased to us by Polarium many months ago as the reward for fully clearing Faction Wars. But even though this was teased to us many months ago, we haven't heard an update on this champion until today. And I wanted to share with you guys the original post here that was made by Valkyrie back in February. Hey everyone, we've posted an announcement earlier and mentioned special rewards that people who achieve outstanding things and tackle high-tier endgame content will receive. Here's a little spoiler covering the changes that will be made to the Faction Wars reward. We know that completing every stage of every crypt with 3 stars is an achievement that takes an incredible amount of effort, time, and resources, and we have to admit that the current reward for that does feel underwhelming. Now remember, at around the same time that they made this announcement as well, there was a lot of other controversy going on with Polarium and Faction Wars with the whole Draco Gate, Draco Morph situation, so that was also ongoing at around this time as well. So one of the game updates in the near future will introduce a brand new legendary champion as the final reward of Faction Wars. Much like the Arbiter is the final reward for completing all challenges, but we cannot reveal the exact details. This champion is definitely going to be a powerful one, and she'll be a worthy reward to all those who manage to accomplish a feat of that immense difficulty. Well, this was back in February, and now, just a few days ago, the Diamond actually hinted a little bit at a rough timeline of when this champion is actually going to be coming to the game, and this was in response to a question that somebody actually asked about the clan boss system, which was also a very good question, and included a question asking about this actual champion. So somebody asked, hi, any news on when they are going to remove the rare books from Nightmare and Ultra Nightmare chests? It's been promised months ago, together with the unlimited HP clan boss, which that part of it we do actually have, but they still haven't been removed. And any news about the legendary champion that we've been promised to get once we finish all the Faction War crypts with 3 stars? If you can give me an update on that, thanks. And the Diamond responded here, Faction Wars champion is going to be released most probably in September. So we now have a rough timeline of when this champion right here is going to be coming to the game, and that is roughly in September. And also, in response to that question about books, which was also a very good question, and of course the clan boss system is something that has been improved in recent updates, but is still something on their list of things to work on in future updates as well. The same goes for the rework of clan boss rewards, including rare books. These changes are aimed for the same update. And from the first glance on the internal roadmap, interesting wording right there, you know, it looks like there's some sort of update that they actually have planned coming in September. Once again, it should come in September. The date is approximate, so you know it's still a little ways down the road, but apparently they actually do have some plans on some bigger things, but they are not going to be coming to the game for a decent amount of time. Now, that is the first champion that I wanted to share with you guys some details on, but we also have more information about the upcoming login rewards. So, as you guys know, the login rewards currently only actually go up to 180 days, and a decent amount of people, including myself, have already actually gotten to 180 days, which is why you don't actually see anything on the left side of my screen where the login rewards normally are. But in an update in the future, they are going to be expanding the daily login rewards from 180 days maximum up to 270 days. And the theme has been a champion every 30 days, and that is going to stay consistent because with these 90 new days of login rewards, they are introducing 3 new champions. And I actually have what these champions are going to look like as well as their skill kit. So for the 210-day login reward, we have this champion right here for her appearance, and then we'll get into her skill kit in a second. For the 240-day login reward champion, we have this guy right there. And for the 270-day champion, we have her right there. So that is the appearance, or at least the rough appearance of what these champions are going to look like when they come out in the login rewards. And now let's actually get into their skill kit here. Now I noticed that this was actually provided to the content creators, and you know, they do have the skills here, but something that they missed out, which is pretty critical, is the cooldown on the skills. So I wish we kind of had that information, but we do have pretty much everything else. So let's get into the day 210 champion, which once again, just as a reference point, is her right there. And getting into her skills, so Demon Spawn Force Epic Support type. She has an aura that increases ally HP and faction crypts by 30%. Her skills, skill 1, this is the skill without a cooldown, of course, attacks 2 times at random. Heals all allies by 3% of this champion's HP with each hit on targets under decreased speed debuffs. Now, another thing as well is that 3% feels a little bit low. I'm guessing this is something that's going to be boosted by skill books a decent amount as well. So that's something else that we are missing with the cooldowns, is the skill cooldowns, but also how much the skills are going to get boosted by the skill books. I'm guessing that the version that we have right here is with the unbooked skills, but I'm not 100% on that. The diamond was not around to clarify when I asked him that. So skill 2, attacks one enemy, has a 50% chance of placing a 30% decreased speed debuff on the target for 2 turns, has a 50% chance of placing a 30% decreased speed debuff on all enemies for 2 turns instead if this attack is critical. And then her third skill right here, which is a passive, decreases the damage all allies receive by 5%. This champion will receive that damage instead. If there are multiple champions in the team with the skill, only one will activate. So, you know, it's kind of like a mini version of the ally protection, it seems like, right there. So, pretty interesting. She is support based as well. I don't know what the multipliers for the skill are, not just the multipliers, but whether they are based off of attack, defense, or HP. So there's actually a decent amount of stuff in here that we are missing that's relevant to the, you know, overall power of the skills. That would be nice to know considering she is a support type champion. She's got decreased speed, and also I guess it's an AoE if she has it a crit, and you could easily build your gear and kind of tune her in a way to be able to pretty much always crit. But seems interesting. I don't know how insanely powerful she's going to be with this skill kit in the future, but yeah. Now let's get into the day 240 champion, and again, just as a reference point so you can remember, that is this guy right here and his skill kit. So Ogre Tribe, Spirit, Epic Defense, increases ally defense and faction crypts by 30%. So skill 1, attacks one enemy, has a 50% chance of placing a leech debuff on the target for 2 turns before attacking. Now remember that leech was actually recently buffed as well, so that's pretty cool. Skill 2, attacks all enemies, has a 60% chance of placing a 50% decrease attack buff or a 30% decrease damage debuff for 2 turns. Very interesting. You've got that, you know, RNG gamble there of whether it's going to be a decreased attack or a decreased crit damage. This is one of those skills where I feel like if it has a lower cooldown, it's going to be a lot better, because you might actually be able to get both the decreased attack and the decreased crit damage debuff. But if it's got a long cooldown, like, you know, 4 turns or something like that, then it's probably not going to be very practical in order to keep both of these debuffs active at the same time. So, and skill 3, attacks all enemies, places a 15% continuous heal buff on all allies for 2 turns, places an additional 7.5% continuous heal buff on all allies for 1 turn if at least one enemy is hit by a critical. So you can build this to pretty much always crit. He's got 2 AoEs as well, which I noticed, and that's pretty interesting right there. So you got a 15% continuous heal and then another 7.5% continuous heal. So you have like the strong one and the weak one, which you could both easily get at the same time. Kind of like, you know what that reminds me of is like Bad Alcazar's, except Bad Alcazar's, of course, is both 2 15% continuous heals. But either way, like, that is a lot of healing that you'll be able to see on this guy, in addition to being able to place this decreased attack, this decreased crit damage, and he's got a leech on his auto. I really like this guy's skill kit. I think it's pretty interesting. He's got a lot of support in his 3rd skill right there, and I think that we actually might see this guy put to use. I don't know so much about this first champion right here based off of her skill kit. Not really too sure, but you know, this guy with that skill kit, I think he could easily be put to some pretty good use. So now let's get into the 3rd champion right here, just as a reference as well, what she looks like right there. And let's see, so getting into her skills. So Void, she's a Void champion, Void Dark Elves legendary as well. So that's pretty cool that they are giving us another legendary with the login rewards. Defense type, increases ally defense and faction crypts by 37%. That's a lot of defense right there, but it's only in faction crypts. So, and we have a decent amount of good Dark Elves anyway for faction crypts. So, let's see, skills. Attacks one enemy 2 times. Each hit has an 80% chance of decreasing the target's turn meter by 10%. Deals this champion's turn meter equal to the amount the target loses. Okay, so you got some additional utility there. Skill 2, attacks all enemies, has a 75% chance of placing a 30% decreased speed debuff for 2 turns, places a shield buff on this champion equal to 20% of their max HP for 2 turns. So the thing is, it looks like she is a defense-based champion, and now she's got a skill that is going to place the shield, but it's based off of her HP. So like if she was an HP-based champion, I feel like this skill would have a lot more potential to be extremely powerful. But considering that she's not, still a good skill, of course. It is an AoE, it's got that decreased speed, and it still has a shield anyway, but you know, that skill could have definitely seen some more potential there. And then the third skill right here places a provoke debuff on the target for 1 turn. Also places a 50% ally protection buff on all allies except this champion for 2 turns. So I guess she's built to be just like a pretty typical, very tanky type champion with lots of defense, lots of survivability, you know, some additional utility on her skill 1 with that turn meter, you know, leech, I guess you could say. Pretty interesting skill kit. I think she will definitely see some use, especially considering that she is a void defense-based legendary that you'll be able to get without having to rely on the RNG of shards. You know, free is debatable considering you have to log in for 270 days, which is a very long time in order to get her, but you don't have to gamble on shards in order to get her, and I think there will definitely be ways to turn her into a very solid champion. But overall, out of these 3, I really like the 240-day champion. I really like this orc guy with his 3rd skill right here, his AoE skill kit. You know, he just seems like he's going to provide a lot of healing and support. So overall, though, I think that these champions are pretty decent. I'm not too sure in comparison to like the champions we got from the login rewards already. You know, at a first glance, this legendary compared to Syl of the Drakes, you know, it's hard to say because we don't actually have this champion yet, and we're missing a lot of information in these actual skills. Like if I knew the skill cooldowns, you know, like the multipliers of the skills, and, you know, like what the skill books were actually going to benefit, I think I would be able to do a comparison a little bit easier. But like with the information that we are given, it seems like Syl of the Drake's probably going to outweigh, but I don't know. She is void. That gives her a huge advantage, so that alone might actually change the scales there. I guess we'll just have to see, wait till we either get her or wait until the Diamond or somebody else at Plarium is around to give us a bit more information about things like these skill books and multipliers and, you know, all that sort of stuff, cooldowns, etc., etc. So anyway, this is just the introductory information. I'm sure as time goes on, we'll get more info about these actual champions right here. I'm also looking forward to more info on this champion as well, even though it's going to be a while. You know, with the actual login reward timers lining up, we'll probably actually see this champion in game, you know, roughly at around the same time that people start to see their 270-day login rewards. Let's see, July, August, September, October, maybe even a little bit sooner, actually. You know, it's going to take 90 days for everybody to get all these champions that we just went over. But that's going to be it for the video today. I hope that you guys enjoyed, and if you did enjoy this video and you want more videos like this in the future, consider subscribing to the channel. Really do appreciate all the support, everyone. If you want to help out, leaving a quick like means more than you can imagine, so thank you so much to all of you guys who decide to do that. And more Raid Shadow Legends videos, guides, tutorials, all that fun stuff should be popping up on the screen right about now, or in the suggested videos to right or below. Feel free to check them out, but if not, until next time, take care, everyone. This is Salt of the Salty Guild, signing out.